Susan Eaves, this is your life.
What?
Come and join us in our community chair. No, this is your life. As much as we know of it. Oh, yeah.
We knew that you would not do this if you knew about it, but this is the time that we want to show our appreciation and gratitude for all of the things that you've done, that you do, that behind the scenes and up front. Right this time, we're going to have your family and friends come.
Oh, really? This is Lotus, everybody.
I was expecting that. Scarlett's big, my husband. Good grief. Gosh, I should have dressed better today. Step shirt on.
A little about Susan's family life. Susan has always loved park and recreation after working in a day camp in Southern Illinois during her high school. She graduated from Southern Illinois University and eventually obtained a master's degree in park and rec from the Texas Women's University. She met her husband Dan during the summer of 1965 when they both worked at Yellowstone National Park. Susan always loved Texas, so they began a long-distance courtship and were married in April of 1968. They moved to Texas, and Susan began working for the Arlington Parks and Recreation Department. She worked for several cities, including the Director of Park and Recreation in Lancaster, the Executive Director for TRAPS, which is Texas Recreation and Park Society, for many years. They have 4 children, Daniel, Kelly, and also Mark and Lisette, who they adopted as teenagers. Now she has 3 grandchildren, Brianna, 21, Lucas, 16, and Lotus, who is in her lap, at 5. She loves organizing events and is active in her church, the Fielder Road Baptist Church, where she sung in the choir for 30 years plus. She serves on the board of Arlington. This is awful. Is this Panhellenic? Panhellenic, okay. Served on the Arlington Parks and Recreation Board for decades and the Keep Arlington Beautiful. She has won almost every award given by the Parks and Recreation professionals, including the President's Award at the TRAPS Convention. She loves music, musicals, movies, llamas, dancing, and spending time with her friends and family. She tried to retire several years ago, but we know Susan. She got bored. So she came back to the summit. Daniel?
This is one of her favorite songs.
You wrote it.
I wish there's something I could say, 'cause I know these times can be real hard. God, I know they are. And all these doors, they seem to close. Oh, I I know, but morning's haze replaced by new days. Oh, you are never really alone, even on your own. Hold on, you have never been alone, even on your own. Wish there's something I could do. Well, helpless, my hands are tied, slippery reasons why this don't make no sense. 'Cause, well, I just hopped off that fence. I wish I never made a bargain with you. You could have told me before you through. Hey, oh, you are never really alone. Well, even on your own, hold on, you have never been alone. Even on your own, hold on, you have never been alone. Hey, even on your own.
Daniel wrote that. That is Susan's son, everybody. Next, we're going to have Latrell. She's the vice president of the Red Hat Sassy Jewels.
Marty needs to share.
Oh, you got to leave. Okay. Well, we're going to change the program a little bit. Marty's best friend for over 30 years is here. We didn't think she's going to be able to make it.
Marty's best friend?
Everybody knows that. In case you guys don't know me, I have senior moments. That was one of them. Susan's best friend, Marty, is here. And so Marty is not going to be able to stay very long. So if you guys will allow Marty the time to say what she wants to say about her very best friend.
I just texted her, said I hadn't heard from her in 2 days. Was everything okay? So I was not feeling real well this morning, but this was really, really important, and I have another scheduled compromise that I had to make because we have a gas burning fireplace that decided to go on the fritz. We're leaving for Hawaii Sunday morning, and my husband had to go out of town unexpectedly Tuesday, and so there's 3 weeks of things to do in 3 days, and I'm running behind as usual. And Dan is in agreement over there. I mean, I met Dan before I met Susan. And Dan decided that Susan and I would be good friends. And I think he knew it pretty well. So we're a lot alike but different. Sometimes we say we are twins from other mothers. And yesterday I was making a long list. I didn't realize how many descriptive words I had for Susan. But I had 2 full pages, Susan. But I guess that's what you get after 30 plus years. And you know kind of inside and outside. And you know the family, and you know all the things that are, most of the things she's done anyway. But as I made this long list, I had it with me in the car yesterday when I picked up my 10-year-old grandson from school. He picked it up to get in the car and he looked at it real quickly and he said, "Did you have to make a list of presidential qualities too?" Sorry, I thought Susan would find that really amazing. Because I've taken a long turn into politics, and Susan has helped me get where I wanted to be. And she has wanted nothing to do with it. Once she got me elected, she figured that was my job. But she hasn't cared too much about politics for other than that. But if there's one word to describe Susan, I bet each of you have a word, but I have loyalty. And if you are a friend of Susan, or if Susan has befriended you in any way, you know that you are indeed blessed. And I'm sorry, I'm hoarse. But you are indeed blessed to have this wonderful woman in your life. And I have been blessed in so many ways I couldn't even enumerate. Some of them are really ridiculous, some of them are fun, some of them have been really serious. And to her great credit, she has stood by me through thick and thin, for better and for worse. And she's amped it up and brought in her husband and her kids when necessary. So we've been through a great deal together. We've had some really amazing fun times. And I say that with some qualifier because fun is not my middle name. It is her middle name. And I have learned to have fun because of Susan. I have said yes to more things than I could ever believe I would have done because Susan has said, "But we've already agreed to it." Oh, we did, okay. And amazingly, it was always fun. I don't ever regret anything we've ever done except maybe a few of our speeding tickets. I was so afraid I was going to get stopped this morning. I really was. And I thought, I don't have time. You really don't have time. But Susan, I wanted to I wanted to focus on a few of the words that I think are the most meaningful in case these folks don't know you as well as I do. When Susan and I met, we think it was when she was still with the Parks Department in Arlington, and I was on the Parks Board. She wanted to be on the Parks Board, but she had to leave employment in the city of Arlington before she could do that. So she lived vicariously through me for a few more years before she left Arlington and went elsewhere. And then we had great plans, and I think Arlington is better because of Susan in so many ways. But because I had the opportunity to be on the park board, we made some amazing things happen. Susan and I together passed the first bond election that was over $3 million. And we did that single-handedly. And it was because of Susan that I even had the courage to jump out there and say, sure, we'll agree to work on your bond election for over $13 million. And Arlington was so disenchanted with the idea that we even proposed that, all right, we will have a separate election at the same time. They said, fine, we don't want anything to do with you. Everything is on you. And with this lady's amazing organizational skills and planning, we got it done. And it passed bigger than the rest of the bond package. The city manager told us that night, well, if I'd known you guys could have done that kind of work, I would have had you work on the whole project.
We didn't care about the other parts.
We didn't. We were single focused and laser driven at that point, and that was even before we knew about lasers at that point. Now, Susan is the most accepting person of me as an individual that I've ever known until I met my current husband. My previous husband died after a very long illness, and Susan stood with me through all the years of that and all that went with it. And she made me be a lot stronger than I thought I was capable of. I'm so sorry. Can I have my water, please? I'm so sorry. That's weird. And although our goals have been very different, we've always been supportive of each other. Whatever Susan wanted to do, I was right there as her biggest cheerleader. Whatever I wanted to do, even if it was totally different, she was right there behind me. And she brought a lot of people along the way to be just as supportive, which was always amazing to me. Susan sort of like the Pied Piper. Everybody wanted to follow. Everybody wanted to do what Susan was doing because it was fun. She made even working for me in politics fun for people. Susan's always happy for you. Have you ever noticed that no matter what your success is, she's happier for you than you are for your own success? I mean, she is your best supporter that you will ever find. She's never, ever been jealous of anyone. I'm convinced of that. She is honest, perhaps to a flaw. She's honest with you and with herself and with everything about you and yourself. Sometimes we've had heart-to-hearts and I've had to face some things that I haven't wanted to, but she kept telling me it was okay. And dependable. Rick, you know about dependability. You know what Susan's like about being dependable. Susan keeps secrets. Personal secrets are secret till death do us part. I don't have to worry about that. And Susan listens attentively, and with her whole self. She listens to what's going on with you. She may be able to multitask, but if you have a problem or if you need her attention, you have it 100%. She is respectful of you, of your time, your family, your other involvements. You know, Susan is just about the most nearly perfect person that I know. And I'll accept her that she has flaws, and we all do, but to me, she's a perfect friend.
Thank you, Marty.
You bet.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about Susan's career. We're going to have our Vice Queen Mother of the Sassy Jewels that Susan, by the way, created on her trip.
Sure.
This is a great lady. I'm going to give you a few of her, well, a lot of her career history. Susan Eaves is a graduate of Southern Illinois University and Texas Women's University with a BS and an MA degree in Parks and Recreation Administration. She met her husband, Dan, while working in Yellowstone National Park during college. In 1995, Susan was recognized as the Distinguished Recreation Alumni at Southern Illinois University. Susan has been a Parks and Recreation professional for over 45 years. She began her career in Arlington, Texas, where she worked for 14 years. Susan left her position of Superintendent of Recreation to become the Texas Recreation and Parks Society, TRAPS, first full-time executive director. After 6 years with TRAPS, Susan spent 4 years as district superintendent with Fort Worth Parks and Community Services. During her tenure there, Fort Worth won the National Gold Medal and 2 Texas Gold Medals. In 1996, Susan became the Director of Parks and Recreation in Lancaster, Texas. Under her leadership, the Parks, Arts, and Recreation Department built over $20 million in capital improvements, including a $9.7 million recreation center and indoor water park.
Wow.
Negotiating with the Texas Rangers and Royce Clayton Foundations, building the first municipal Texas Rangers youth baseball field in Lancaster. Susan wrote 6 grants totaling over $5.2 million. In January of 2003, While working for the Dallas Parks and Recreation Department, Susan started her own business, Visions in Action, a grant writing, parks and recreation consultant, and special event planning company.
And Marty was my partner.
Oh, okay. Writing 20 grants for a $2.6 million downtown historic railroad park project. Wow. Susan returned in August of 2007 from the city of Dallas. Although retired, Susan was appointed to the Board of Arlington Parks and Recreation, as well as the River Legacy Parks Foundation Board. Susan was vice president from 2008 to 2009, and president from 2009 to 2011. In March of 2010, Susan came out of retirement to become special events planner and recreation programmer for Grand Paris Summit 50 Plus Career Summit. During these 6 years, Susan has added purpose and fulfillment to the lives of over 5,000 members, their families, and friends. Her bi-weekly dances, her creation of a Red Hat chapter, the Summit Sassy Jewel, the Summit Support Group, and being the catalyst for the Summit Women's Network are only a drop in the sea of pearls she adores us with. Susan is also the person behind the scenes of many outings, including recent trips to New York City and Las Vegas. She has given a new meaning to active senior living. Susan Eaves, a legend and a dream maker.
Thank you, Michelle. That is truly the epitome of who you are. I call Susan a dream maker because she makes things happen. It's not my time to speak. I just wanted to say that. Right now, I'm going to introduce to some of you and present to others the Director of the Parks and Recreation, Grand Prairie, Rick Harrell.
I'm so honored to be asked today to be over here. I have, when we built this incredible facility, thanks to all of you, there was one challenge that we had. You know, you can spend money and build great facilities, but you gotta bring those facilities to life. You gotta have great programs and great programming and great excitement and great vision and great passion. And when Susan said, we'd like to be a part of that project, oh my gosh, what an exciting day that was for us. Let me tell you, I've known Susan for 30 years. She is a legitimate legend in our profession, a legend in our profession. When you have a chance to bring a legend to be part of a building that is another legend, wow, we're the lucky ones. We're the lucky ones. Last year at our state convention, the outgoing president surprised Susan with his presidential award because she inspired him at the very start of his career. And that goes for tens and tens and tens of recreation professionals that Susan has made a difference in their life together. And so we're so honored. All of these excitement, all these programs. And Marty said about Big Brutally Honest, she don't spare any of her thoughts on Rick either, let me tell you. I had an email one day and said, oh my gosh. And but that is refreshing. And I think the reason I like it is sometimes people are afraid to tell you the truth, you know? They're afraid to tell you, oh, I don't want to tell Rick this, I don't want to tell that. Susan has no trouble telling me those things. But Susan, again, what a great honor this is. And I'm just so honored to come up and say a few words on behalf of the city of Grand Prairie. You know, Susan has worked, let me just tell you this, kind of following what Marty said. There's a new building getting to be built in her city of Arlington. And it's been because of the great work Susan's done. And that's going to be a almost $40 million facility, I believe. So her thumbprint continues to be with her work at River Legacy, her work with the Parks Board, and her work with the staff in Arlington outside of all the great things she's done for us. So we have lots more years. We just signed. I want everyone to know, and I wanted to announce that today on this great women's network. By the way, this is a state award-winning program from our Texas Parks and Recreation Society. So thank y'all for making all that possible. Susan has been a big inspiration in that. So we're really proud of that. But Susan yesterday, on a napkin, just signed a 20-year extension. So I want you to know. Dan, I'm sorry, Dan. So Susan is with us till 2036. I'm going to be gone way before then. Because of the epic, I may not make the year. But we got Susan to guide us if we need any help. So anyway, Susan, congratulations.
Before we get to some letters, and some people could be with us today, and so we're going to have Christy read some letters. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce Susan's family. We have her husband, Dan. Now, Christy, Kelly, I hadn't seen Kelly in a couple of years at a church function. So when Kelly came in this morning, I didn't even know who Kelly was. I looked and I was like, I'm not sure. I just said, hi, how you doing? So I want everybody to meet Kelly. And the wonderful guy you heard playing and serenading his mom is her son, Daniel. And the other people that you see in this front row are her very close personal friends. Christy?
I had the privilege of being Susan's roommate in Las Vegas last week, and as you know, if you're a good friend of her, she answers every phone call. She does. She doesn't miss one. No, she is just on spot. Susan, a lot of your friends weren't able to make it, but they took the time to write some letters. Susan has friends in Arlington, in the Scarlett O'Haras, at church, in her community and neighborhood, and from your past. So I'm going to read a few letters. This is from Chris Sides, representing the Scarlett O'Haras. I've not known Susan as long as some others. When first retired, I started going to luncheons with the Scarlett O'Haras. Upon learning that I really enjoyed the company, I joined full-time. Susan was one of the first to come up to me and offer friendship. Through the years, it seemed as if Susan did not have a life button called slow. She was always one you could count on. After joining the summit, it seemed as if Susan's boundless energy was still in place. I have been on many trips with the summit and have nothing but admiration and praise for Susan, who always goes above and beyond in capital letters. I remember on the trip to New York City, I wasn't feeling very well. Susan picked that exact time to be so tired that she, there's a blank.
Wanda, what happened? I don't know what she's talking about.
Oh, she says, oh well.
After hearing about Susan's escapades, I suddenly felt very much better. She puts her heart and soul into every event that she gets near. I wonder if things would get done or get done in any fashion people would recognize if Susan wasn't around. Blessings to you, Susan. I have a letter from Carol Harper.
Oh, my best friend since kindergarten.
I have been Susan's friend since grade school. I went away for my first 2 years of college. Shortly after returning to SIU, Southern Illinois University, for our junior year of college, Susan and I were going to a party. As we were about to leave, Susan asked me if I had any mouthwash. I was amazed because my first thought was she's trying to suggest I had bad breath. She explained that her mom would be waiting up for her. She was an only child living at home, in parentheses. And she needed to cover up the smell of beer on her breath. I was relieved but surprised to find out her mother still watched over her so closely. And Carol goes on to say, another time that same year, she was dreading having to get up at 5 a.m. on Christmas morning. I asked why she did that, and she explained it was because her 2 aunts, their husbands, and her parents always came over to watch her open her presents. Keep in mind, she's college age. She was too nice to tell them that she really did not need or want to get up that early hour to open presents anymore. And I have one from Rosemary Hobson.
My other friend from grade school.
Susan is a lifelong friend, along with another friend named Carol, whose letter I just read. We went to grade school, high school, and college together. As early as grade school, Susan began planning outings and parties for us. It just came naturally to her. We spent lots of time at her house listening to records and dancing. In high school, we picked boyfriends who were friends so we could go everywhere together. Carol went away for college for a couple of years, so Susan and I clung together as we figured college out. We both lived at home, so we went to the library each night to get out of the house. After a bit of studying, we would go to the Dairy Queen and get a hot fudge sundae. In parentheses, we were skinny then. During Lent, some of our friends were talking about giving something up for Lent. Susan and I decided to make a sacrifice and give up our hot fudge sundaes. So for 6 weeks, we ate butterscotch sundaes. After college, we went our separate ways, but kept in touch, seeing each other when we could. After our children were on their way, we started getting together every year for a visit at each other's houses or for a trip together. I treasure my memories with Susan and Carol and our very, very special friendship. Here's one from Byron Allen, who works here. He came back to work here recently, but has worked here before, so here's from Byron. I have only worked with Susan Eaves for just a bleep of her long, illustrious career. Almost 7 years now. If there's ever been a coworker that has made an impact on me personally and professionally, that has changed my outlook on life in general, it's no doubt been Mrs. Susan Ferris Eaves. The bar is set so high with Susan that I jokingly call her legend. We've heard that term before this morning. And truthfully, she fits the definition. Susan has been a pioneer of the Parks and Recreation field for almost half a century, starting her official career in 1967. It is no accident that Susan's trips and dances and programs are all the most sought after, with her great attention to details. If I've heard it once, I've heard it a million times. The devil is in the details. I have learned more in my line of work shadowing Susan than I could ever have at any five-star university.
All right.
This brings you back to the old movie, It's a Wonderful Life. You know the part where he gets to see what the world would have been like had he never been born? Susan is no millionaire, and by no means, but she is a billionaire in richness from the gratification of having changed countless lives that reach farther than I could have ever fathomed. And I only have this for a goal to strive for. And I could guarantee there would have been a lot rustier playgrounds, less camps, less dances, less faraway trips, less in-depth classes, friends and coworkers with forgotten birthdays, a lot more loneliness without her. Thank you, Ned and Jerry Ferris, for giving us such a great, colorful, sharing, caring, giving person that has made this world such a better place because of her presence. But it is also nice to have a coworker that I call friend, that just so happens to be Susan the Legend. My last letter is from Amanda, who is the administrator? Manager. Susan is the spark that takes our clubs, trips, and events to the next level of fun for all. She pulls people in. She makes people feel welcome. The summit is fortunate to have Susan Eaves to create lasting memories for all who join the clubs and participate in the trips and events that she leads. We cannot thank Susan enough for all she does.
Okay. Thank you so much, Christy. Now, I'm going to open up the floor for Susan's friends. I'm going to ask that you limit it to just a couple of minutes, if you can possibly do that. I know it's going to be hard. Because after we finish, we do have some presentations we'd like to give to you, Susan. I can't, every opportunity I have to say thank you, I have to say thank you. This woman, I love her. I love her. I love her.
All right.
So I want you guys to come, and you can, if there's many of you, your family and friends, to come and just say a couple of words. Afterwards, we have a slide presentation that we would love for you guys to see. It's going to be awesome, okay?
Oh. I guess this is better than being at a funeral.
My name is Vicki Burdo. I met Susan while she was working at Fort Worth Parks and Community Services. And let me tell you that Susan made recreation make sense to me. I was able, with her encouragement, to do some things that was not done in the community center. I worked with a high-profile game group, and the community center was at the apex of 4 different rival gangs. So it made it a little difficult sometimes, but she understood without understanding and allowed me to reach out to individuals and get them into the community center, make that center a gang-free zone, if you would. Safe haven. She started the Safe Haven program in all of the community centers. And the thing that strikes me, and she probably won't remember this, but she might. We had a Black History program, and Susan came out and was a part of that Black History program. Meanwhile, I've got gang members in the gym, and we were setting up the gym. And one of the gangs was Grape Street Crips. and their colors were purple. So one of the guys came up and he said, "Hey, who's that white woman down there?" I said, "Oh, that's my boss." I said, "What's the problem?" He said, "Nothing. You know, she got on that purple and she's wearing that purple." Every time she come, they say, "That's that OG white lady." I'm like, "OG, she has a name, please." But OG means original gangster. And she never realized that people were, you know, the guys were kind of watching and looking and seeing, and she just going about her business. She was not intimidated. I mean, she might have been in danger, but she noticed that. Yeah, she didn't know the colors, but she had on the right color. So that was a good thing. But I just want to say that for those of us who work for Parks and Recreation, she was the master planner. She taught us that if you can't get it done this way, we're going to try something else. And gave you the freedom to try something else. That doesn't happen all the time. Okay? And I was able to stay with the Parks Department because of that strategy for 31 years. I retired about 3 years ago. And it was due to Susan's caring and understanding, her wisdom, giving me ideas, telling me there's other things that you can do. Let's try it this way. Let's try it that way. I just love her. I just, you know, and because of that, we're still close friends. We talk, we go out to lunch or dinner or whatever, and it's a whole little group of us, and unfortunately the rest of the group couldn't be here today, but they send their love, they send their support, and they just love me. That's all.
Anybody else? Anyone else? Okay. So now we have Summit members. Suzanne, the Summit members here and the Summit Women Network, we love you so much. We can't tell you how much we appreciate all the things that you do, even the things you do behind the scenes that nobody knows. I just want to share with you guys for a moment. A lot of you have experienced personally the things that Susan does behind the scenes. Some of you have been sick, and she's come to your home. Some of you have been in nursing facilities, or your family members have been in nursing facilities, and she's come. She's brought soup to you. When you lost your husband, she was there. She's been to funerals. She's organized things. This Summit Women's Network is 2 years strong because of her. It was my dream, but she made it happen. It's because of her that all these women that are sitting here today, and some that are not here right now, have hope. They have a reason to get up in the morning, because that's what this was all about. Because of Susan's selflessness, I have never, in my 7 years, met anybody with that much selflessness. She's humble. I don't care what is done, Susan will not take credit for anything. I don't care what she does, I don't care how much work she does. Susan, thank you, Susan, thank you, Susan. Oh, that's nothing, because that's who she is. Had Susan knew that this was happening, this wouldn't have been happening. and because I feel so pulled it off. I can't believe I pulled it off, but I had some help. Usually, Susan and I have a very close relationship. The other day, just 2 days ago, I had a bag in my hand, and I set the bag down, and it was something for Susan in that bag. So I usually have no problem. Susan can pick up anything I have. And she can open it up, look in it, I don't care. Susan picked up the bag and I grabbed it. She gave me a look like, what's that about? Later on that day, I was having a conversation with somebody. When Susan walked by, we shut up. And Christy, Diane, and Latrell and myself, I said, well, we have to go. I got a quick meeting. She said, meeting with who? So I go home and I tell my husband, Reggie, who says he loves you. I tell Reggie about these little things that have been going on. I said, you know what? Because of Susan being the person she is, she probably didn't even really notice. Because she does not take offense to anything. She probably thought, oh, well, it's nothing. I'm not gonna worry about it. But we pulled this off, guys. How about that? How about that? Thank you to everybody who helped me. Summit members, Summit Women's Network, I know some of you have some things that you'd like to say. Hands up, I'll come and let you say something. I know there are plenty of cards on this table over here, Pat.
I just want to thank Susan. When I moved to Grand Prairie, I had a couple of relatives that wanted me to be here. I knew no one. But I heard about the summit. And so I came over here and joined. And Susan was the first person I met. And she was just so friendly and so welcoming. And she said, you have to join the Red Hatters. And I said, okay. And just, you know, she's just encouraging in every way. And I just thank you and I love you.
For those of you who don't know why I'm walking to the people to give them the microphone, because some people are unable to come to the front. Now, all of you guys, most of the people here, you guys don't know me, but I like people to talk back to me, and I'm very candid about what I say. Now, so many of you people have been coming up to me through this last week and a half that we've been trying to pull this off, saying things about Susan. Let's give her flowers while she can smell them.
Susan, I would like to say thank you, because every time I see you, you speak to me, and you don't even know my name. No, you don't. Whether it's at the Red Hats, or we go on a trip, or you're walking down the hall, you stand and talk to me, ask me how I'm doing, or whatever. You know, I appreciate that. I like that in a person. Thank you very much, and continue with your success.
I just want to say, Susan, thank you for being so nice to me when I was in the hospital and making sure that I got a card, and it was just really nice. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm a part of the Red Hat.
Thank you so much for saying that.
I'm Marge Baker, and I'm the Empress of the email for the Sassy Jewels, and I'm one of the first members of the group. I was in on the setting up of it, and I've known Susan since then, and I can attest to all the wonderful things they've said about her, because we in the Sassy Jewels have seen her working in the front and behind the scenes, and we wouldn't be here today and with as much success as we've had without Susan at the helm guiding us. Thank you, Susan, from me and for all the Sassy Jewels.
Anyone else? Betty?
Susan, I can't say anything more than what everybody else has said, so thank you. We love you.
There's a ditto over there. There's a ditto over there. There's a ditto over here. Somebody's popping over there.
I just want to say, Susan, I just love you. Just to know you is to love you. I know when my husband passed a couple of weeks ago, she was right there, in the area. She made sure that we didn't go hungry, and we just enjoyed it so much. Then in the church service, then I looked back and I saw Susan and her red hats, and it was so gorgeous. And I appreciate that very much, and I love you.
Susan, I just want to say thank you. Coming here to the summit, you make me feel so happy just looking at you moving around and joining the Red Hat. You know, you're such a welcoming person. And I want to say God bless you.
Anybody else?
Hi, Susan.
I know you know my name, right? Because, you know, she's always zooming past every time I see her. You know, I would always tell everybody, she's a busy lady. Yes, she is. But you know, Susan, you know, as I watch you, it's what's in here. And I believe it's Christ that's in you that allow you to do the things that you do, to have the compassion that you have. It's not an ordinary person that can do that. That's right. So you continue on what you're doing, and may God forever bless you.
When we were trying to think of a theme to honor you, Susan, Christy, Diane Latrell, Annie, and I continue to, all I can think of is that you show in what your actions, what Christ asked us to do. She demonstrates that in her life. And that's what she does. And we're trying to come up with some words, and I think we put it on that cake maybe. But Annie came up with God's love personified. That's what you are. At this time, we're going to do our presentation. We're going to start with Annie. Can you come up here? Where's the card from? Oh, here it is. Annie. From
Hello, everybody. I'm Annie. And we make this presentation to you, Susan, on behalf of the Summit Women's Network. And we want to let you know that we love you and appreciate you, and words cannot explain how much we appreciate you. You have many words that's been said, and just like I already said, we want to give you your flowers now. While you better. Amen. And y'all know I'm a church person, because I'm going to say amen. But you know, when I was thinking about Susan and this scripture that Jesus said, he said, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Pray to the Lord of the harvest to send laborers into his harvest. And this is one of them. Yes. Yes. She has labored, you know, behind the scenes, and people, if we didn't tell it, if I didn't hear it, I wouldn't know it today. So I appreciate you for all that you've done I know what you do at the Summit Women Network, but I had no idea what you've done for so many. Thank you for touching so many lives. Yes. Amen.
Do you want me to set those up for you? Now, Susan was, she had a chapter of the Red Hat, the Scarlet O'Hara's. So here at the Summit, she started another chapter. It's called the Summit Sassy Jewels. And today the Summit Sassy Jewels would like to show you their appreciation, Susan.
Susan, we're not sure which card is from the Sassy Jewel, so we're going to pretend it's this.
I think it's that.
We spread the word out to collect some money and some notes for you. And what we have in one of these cards is a gift certificate from the Sassy Jewels. And the flowers and cake are from the Women's Network and other people here. Latrell has been sitting in the lobby putting money in a little envelope discreetly so you wouldn't see. So we hope you get something very special for yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and I'll put that back on the table.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, Christy. Susan, from myself, from the Summit Women's Network. Thank you. Because of you, you're the reason why we got that award. Had nothing to do with me. It was all because of you. Just my idea, but you made it happen.
I just can't tell you how much I appreciate everything that you do, what you do for me personally, and what you do for the Summit Women's Network. Thank you.
He says making a difference. That's beautiful. I love that. Well, you want me to say something else?
You have a few more gifts and cards on the table that you can look at your leisure.
Yes, the big gift.
Oh,
The big gift.
oh, yeah, this big gift is not really such a big gift. It's just something I picked up personally that I wanted to tell you what I did. Everybody knows Susan loves llamas. I couldn't find a llama. So, I got this for you. I hope you like it. It's my representation of the llama. It's got a little note on it. On the front.
Not a sheep. I don't care. What's that? I can read
I
this.
don't care. I don't care if Easter. I don't care if Easter is coming.
I'm a llama. Okay. I'll pack it first by the skin.
Aries. Aries, another plaque.
She has
that-
a plaque.
yeah,
The plaque. Did you want me to read it?
I just showed it up, but where did I
She
just
has
put it?
I missed that.
This is the plaque.
Okay.
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay.
This is the plaque.
It's really pretty.
I'll read it to you,
Okay.
then I want Susan to have some words. We're gonna have a slideshow. Uh-oh, here we go. Everybody, Lotus, come back. Everybody, this is Lotus. Lotus, you wanna say hi?
Can you say hi?
That's Lotus. You're gonna see a little bit more Lotus on our slideshow. Susan's plaque says, "Making the difference, awarded to Susan Eaves for your loyal dedication and unwavering commitment. Thank you for your outstanding contributions toward our goals and for making our organization stand above the rest. The love of God personified, the Summit Women's Network." So now, we're gonna have Susan address you guys.
Well, y'all really pulled it off. I had no idea that this was happening at all. And I said I wasn't coming in today because Daniel was going to film, and I'm working on an award that we're doing at Travis next week, and I had to get it done. So when Ari came in and said, "You got to come, only you can help me with this," I'm like, "What happened? What happened?" And Daniel will tell me now. So I had no idea. She did good getting me in here. Yes, Parks and Recreation's been my passion for my whole entire life. You know, and I've come to realize that it truly is a ministry. I mean, there's lots of reasons we have Parks and Recreation. It's just what makes people's lives better, but it truly is a ministry, from taking care of little children, from keeping teenagers in junior high, getting them into doing good things and keeping them off the streets, and preventing gangs. In Fort Worth, we were surrounded with it, and we did things to work with the gangs, but we also did things coming up to keep them from even getting in a gang in the first place. And lawmakers that think it's frivolous and think it's a luxury they don't get it. And at one point, our Park and Rec Nashville had a logo that said Parks and Recreation, life's necessity. And I think it says it better than anything else, and I've put it on a lot of things. So we have to work real hard to get people to understand how important what we do in Parks and Rec, and because it's a God thing, and I know it's my ministry to do things. I'd much rather be organizing things than participating. I get to participate with, but I always like to organize that, and I did it on my street when I was growing up. I had clubs, I organized clubs, I organized everybody. I didn't even realize that's what it was, and we had plays, we had circuses, we showed movies. My dad would buy the popcorn and the Cokes, and we'd sell it, and then go to the movies on the profit. And he was wonderful.
And then I grew up as a camper and then a junior counselor and a counselor at a camp that was run by Southern Illinois University out on this lake that was just wonderful. And so I was always doing recreation, and the man that was the camp director, he was also the chairman of the Park and Rec department at Southern Illinois, and he asked me when I was a senior, his daughter was in my class, if I'd ever thought about majoring in recreation, and I said, well, I didn't know you could. He said, well, come take one class and see what you think, and I was absolutely hooked. I was so fortunate to be in Carbondale, Illinois, little town, but they had a wonderful university, and it was the very first recreation program in the country, and phenomenal people that were just my mentors, and so I'm so fortunate to be at Parks and Recreation. I am somebody that holds on to my friends. I just met them 2 weeks ago, or I met them 40, 50 years ago. That's important to me. And I'm so thrilled to see all of you here. Vicki, I haven't been in Fort Worth since 1996, but we still are together with a small group of ladies. And, I just like to be with people. I can't be at home. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. This is unbelievable. So I love every one of you. I do love what I do. And this is what makes me happy. It just, I'd be bored to death if I went home, so I can't. I'll be doing this forever, but I just love it, and I love you guys, and I cannot thank you enough for this. This is amazing, and that Kelly and Dan and Daniel came and loved this. That is so, wow. I braid Dan's hair, but he only does it on church day, and he wanted me to, I said, where are you going today? And he said, oh, not much. And then he came in and wanted me to do his hair, and I'm like, well, okay. But I certainly didn't think about anything like this, but anyway, I'm glad I did it. And I'm so proud of my kids, of Kelly. She's the oldest, and she is phenomenal. She is a volunteer with the animal shelter in Arlington and does unbelievable work fostering animals, and then with the feral cats, and she's unbelievable. She has a wonderful son who's 16, and he's a golfer. And his genes are coming out that he's just like my dad. He never met my dad, but he's just like my dad. Tells, real dry sense of humor, plays pranks on people, and he's my dad all over again. So that's a real treat for us. And Daniel's our talented musician, and I said I'd never be like John Denver's parents who didn't support him. So we've been to lots of shows, and we love all his music. That was an original song, but he was at our house when he was writing it, and I loved it. I just loved it, and so he always has to play it if I'm wherever. And there's another one that my daughters like called "Love to Sway," and they do this at the back of the show, so they'll be sure to play it without forgetting. So, but he's so talented, and he gave us this precious girl. We have a 21-year-old and a 16-year-old, and didn't think we'd have any more babies, but we got Lotus, and we're so happy about that. So he lets us share her as much as possible. But he's so talented, and he's going to be going to do an off-Broadway show in the fall in New York. He did a show in Colorado, so we're proud of that. So we'll be planning another New York trip if y'all want to go, once he finds out when it is. So anyway, I just can't thank y'all enough. Ari's been so fun to work with her dream of doing this show, and we just keep expanding it. She's got so many great ideas, and we were just able to make it work out. And my two clubs, my Scarlet O'Hara's and my Sassy Jewels, I got two of my Scarlets over here. Oh, three of my Scarlets, sorry, three of my Scarlets over here. And we've been together 13 years, and we had our anniversary a couple weeks ago at the Zodiac Room at the Neiman Marcus, so we had a lot of fun, and the Sassy Jewels went with us, and that was a real treat. So anyway, I just can't thank you enough. It's much better than having a funeral. So well, I mean, I don't want to have one anyway, but this is nice. This is so nice to know that you are appreciated, and when you work for cities, you get griped at a lot. So I really appreciate this so much, and I do love what I do and love being with all of you. I would just be lost if I didn't have you. So thank you to everybody. I don't know what else to say.
we want to thank everybody for coming and participating and showing your love for Susan. We're just going to sign off of the YouTube channel. We want to thank everybody for watching. And those of you who recognize Susan, you've seen her before, you know her accolades. And we just want to thank you for watching. And we appreciate your likes and like us on Facebook. And we want you guys to always remember, women, that there is life